My name is Annie and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to read for 24 hours straight in order to reduce my physical TBR, which is what you can see here in front of you. It stands at about 13 books and is a lot of books that I have been avoiding either due to their length or just due to a myriad of reasons. So in this video I'm going to try to reduce that to at least 9 if not more, but I'd really like to get into the single digits with books that I've purchased so that I feel less guilty about myself. But before I get started, I want to quickly rapid fire recap some of the books that I'm going to be reading in this video. The first book on my list is Dune by Frank Herbert, an incredibly famous fantasy epic that concerns a desert planet known as Arrakis. The next book on my list is The Friend by Ingrid Nunes, which is a book that concerns a woman who comes into ownership of a dog after her friend passes away, much to her annoyance with the animal, but wanting to take care of the animal in sake of her past friend. My third book is Hood Feminism by Nikki Kendall. It is a critique of the modern feminism movement. The fourth book on my list is The Sun is a Compass by Carolyn Van Hemert. It is a true story of her travel into the Alaskan wilderness. The fifth book on my list is Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. This book concerns Earth coming into contact with an alien population in which their system orbits 3 stars. Three Body Problem is in reference to some sort of physics thing I don't quite understand. The next book on my list is The Coolest Miles by Lainey Salisbury and Gay Salisbury. This book is a true story of an expedition dog sledding trip in which they were trying to get an antidote to help stop an epidemic. I also have Babel by R.F. Kuang. Babel is a dark academia epic that concerns magic and linguistics and really is, I would say, a love letter to language. I also have End of Story by A.J. Finn, which is a thriller that basically focuses on a detective who asks his colleague to help him write his life story shortly before he dies, and then everything that comes after that. And finally, we have the Sanderson pile. So the first book on my list is Edgedancer. All of these are going to be by Brandon Sanderson. Edgedancer takes place between book 3 and 4 in the Stormlight Archive and follows the character Lift, who is basically a teenager who never wants to grow up, and she ends up finding that she has some magical powers. The next book I have on my list is Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which is basically the story of 2 opposites that have to live in harmony with each other. It was the third in Sanderson's secret projects. I read Tress of the Emerald Sea, and so I'm really looking forward to read this one. His third project does not take place in the Cosmere, so I likely will skip that one. I also have Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, which is the story of 2 princesses. One is destined to marry a god, and there's just a lot of conflict and things to deal with that. I, of course, have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I read the Stormlight Archive first, which I know is not what he recommends, but if you've never heard of Mistborn, it's basically a fantasy heist and is incredibly famous, maybe his most famous work, if not Stormlight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to read this one. I might start this one, but I'm not sure. This is technically not a Brandon Sanderson book, though he did contribute to the later novels in this series. This is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and it is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, which is a 14-book-long fantasy epic. So those are all the books I'm going to be reading in this readathon. I'm actually going to start tomorrow so that I can get some rest before having to focus for 24 hours straight. So I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Okay, it is 5:20 a.m. so I'm going to start the timer. So now we're going. I'll be done at 5 a.m. tomorrow, 5:20 a.m. The first book I'm going to be starting with is Edgedancer by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm hoping to get a little chunk of this done before my boyfriend wakes up. Then I'll probably listen to an audiobook while I get ready for my day and work out and make breakfast. Okay, so I'm just over an hour in now. I am about 100 pages through Edgedancer because the pages are very small and the text is large. You can maybe get a sense of what I'm talking about. So I am enjoying it so far. I think it gives a really different perspective to the Stormlight Archive, and I think if you are fans of the mainline series, you'll get a kick out of this. I am really hungry, so I'm gonna make breakfast, and then I'm gonna read some more because my boyfriend is still asleep. It is 8:48 a.m. so we have about 20 hours and a half remaining in my 24-hour readathon. Since I last spoke to you, I got ready for the day and showered and did my workout and just did a lot of things that don't really work while reading. So I've been listening to the audiobook for Three Body Problem, which I believe the author's name is actually pronounced like cixin zoo, and I know I pronounced it differently before. I am excited to see where this goes because I know that obviously this is a science fiction book, so currently we're really in like believable science, so I'm curious what will happen. I've also gotten some progress done in edgedancer. I am on page 189, so I've got about that much left in the book. And I really like edgedancer. I think that it gives very needed context to Lift's story. I think that Lift is a really fascinating character, and I think that reading from a child POV gives a lot of lightness to the Stormlight archive that a lot of the other parts of the series do not have. I have some errands to run in about an hour. I am cat sitting and I have a prior commitment. I'm gonna listen to my audiobook for as much as possible, and I will probably get back to you when I'm cat sitting. So let's see you then. I'm at my cat sitting gig now. I have listened to, I think, about 4 hours of Three Body Problem, and that's what I'm probably gonna continue doing. I'm listening to it on 1.5 speed, so I have about 6 hours left. Normally it's a 13-hour book, it's about 10 hours on 1.5 speed. So far, it's a little complicated for me, a little dense, but I understand that that's how sci-fi books are, so I'm optimistic that it'll get better. I also want to finish edgedancer soon. I definitely can probably finish that after lunch, but for now I'm gonna enjoy my treat, which is tiramisu that my friends made since I'm cat sitting for their kitty, and enjoy Three Body Problem. I am back at my apartment now. I'm going to make lunch, but I wanted to give an update of where I am at. It is currently 12:54, so I am nearing the 8-hour mark of this 24-hour readathon. I really thought at this point I was gonna be further, but that's okay because I've spent a lot of time listening to an audiobook, which normally takes me significantly longer. I can tell once I sit down and finish edgedancer that'll be quick, and then hopefully I can get into my next book, which will most likely be Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, unless I'm in the mood for something else when I finish edgedancer. So I wanted to give an update of where I am at in Three Body Problem. I am, I think, on chapter 14. According to my audiobook, I've got about 5 hours remaining in the book. I was looking at some reviews for this book because I have been having a lot of mixed feelings where some parts of it are really good and some parts of it I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. This feels really stilted and weird, and I have been seeing that a lot of the reviews agree with that. I think that especially since it's translated, and the translator said that the best translations into English do not sound like they were written in English, and I think that's definitely felt, and I know that it's meant to be kind of a cultural difference, and that's part of it, but I am finding it really difficult to listen to at times and process and understand. I also think a lot of the physics can be really, really dense, and that definitely goes over my head. I was a humanities girly, so it's been a lot. I am going to finish it. I did kind of consider for a second that I would DNF, but I really want to finish it, partially because I need to have audio in my brain, like when I'm cooking and when I am relaxing and not wanting to use my eyes. So I think if I weren't doing this challenge, I maybe would DNF, but since I only have 5 hours left and I can envision myself needing to rest my eyes for at least 5 hours, I think I will finish it. So now that I'm home, I'm gonna make lunch. I'm gonna have literally just bag ramen, but I'm gonna make lunch and then I will probably take a break from Three Body Problem to read Edgedancer after I'm done eating. I just finished Edgedancer by Sanderson. I'm gonna give my reviews at the end, but right now I really liked this, and I think Lift is a phenomenal character. We've got about 15 hours left in this challenge, and I am really starting to feel it. My caffeine from this morning has worn off. I'm feeling really exhausted. I want to lay in bed and not read anymore, but I really want to finish this. I really want to do this. I've only done one of my goals, so I really want to get to at least 4 books, and I think that's very doable. I just have to commit. The next book on my list is gonna be Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I'm probably gonna go get cozy in my bed and read it and try not to fall asleep. Hello. Last time I saw you, it was 2:30 and now it is 4 o'clock. And since that time, I have read nothing at all because I fell asleep almost instantly. I got into my bed with the intention of just getting cozy so I could read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and within minutes, sleep had taken me. I am not a normal 5 a.m. wake up girl, so I think I was just getting really hit by the exhaustion and by how tired my brain was from focusing on reading all day, and I think I really needed it, but I think hopefully that should allow me to power through some more hours of reading, and I also plan to get more coffee at a late night cafe open near me in a couple hours, probably after dinner. So it's time to actually start Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. It is 5:21 p.m., which means we've hit the 12-hour mark remaining. It is weird to think that I have been doing this for 12 hours. I think especially because I took a nap, it doesn't really feel like that long. But I gotta say, I'm kind of looking forward to being done. I've never read for this extended period before, and it is really exhausting and especially straining my eyes. But regardless, I am 80 pages into Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I think so far it's really good. It's really interesting. It is definitely a very different world than what we've seen in the Cosmere. So that has been very interesting. I think that it's probably not going to be my favorite of his secret projects. Tress is just truly something that matters a lot to me, and I also enjoyed Sunlit Men a lot. So I'm not sure right now, but I'm only 80 pages in. It's about 350, so there's definitely a lot that could happen. I just had dinner. Austin made us BLTs, and I'm about the same length into Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, maybe 15 or 20 pages ahead of where I was, but that's because I've been listening to the audiobook for Three Body Problem. I think I'm at almost exactly the halfway point. I think I'm like right here. I'm in the middle of chapter 17, and so far my opinions have not really changed. The physics is a lot, but I think the story is interesting and I'm definitely going to finish it. Now it is 6:50 p.m. so I am going to go get some caffeine from a coffee shop to bring home, and then my boyfriend and I are gonna go get a sweet treat to reward ourselves. So next time you see me, it'll probably be in an hour or so. I'm back home now and I've changed into pajamas so that I can just get cozy for the rest of the night. It's 8:30 right now, so I've got about a little under 9 hours remaining. I really want to make some progress in Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I have about 3 hours left in Three Body Problem because I've been listening to quite a bit of that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish that later tonight. Right now I want to do Yumi and the Nightmare Painter while I still have some focus left. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. It is 10:29 and I've just finished Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. This book made me cry, so I think that's all that really needs to be said. That being said, I think if you are a romance reader or a romantasy reader, I think you would really enjoy this. It's, at its core, it is a love story, and you don't need to have read other Brandon Sanderson books to read it. I also noticed that it's a lot like the movie Your Name, which is an anime, and Brandon Sanderson even acknowledges in his end note that he took inspiration from Your Name. So if you enjoyed that movie and enjoyed that very whimsical nature of two different worlds, I think you would really enjoy this. I'm gonna leave my final thoughts at the end, but I gotta go pick out another book, so I'll be back to you once I'm reading my next book. The next book I'm going to read is End of Story. The reason I'm reading this one is because it's a thriller, and I'm hoping that it can keep me a little scared and on edge and through the night. That being said, I thought it was short because it looks really thin, and it's 400 pages, so I'm a little intimidated by that, but we're gonna get started, and hopefully I can finish this one sometime in the middle of the night, and then worst case, I can pick up the physical copy of Three Body Problem before I have to be done and go to bed. So that's what we're doing. I am hitting a wall. I do not want to read Three Body Problem, and I do not want to be reading End of Story. I'm about 100 pages into End of Story. I'm about 230 pages into the Three Body Problem. I'm just so tired. It's about midnight. Don't know that I want to do 5 more hours of reading. I would really just like to go to bed. It is now the next day. I fell asleep and did not finish the 24-hour reading challenge. That being said, I did get, I believe I got 20 hours into the challenge, so still pretty significant, and I'm proud of what I did get to read. That being said, I wanted to talk about and kind of wrap up the challenge. So I wanted to talk about some of the books that I finished and then the books I didn't finish and my thoughts. The first book I finished was Edgedancer by Sanderson. I think I'm most likely going to be rating this 4 stars. I really liked it, and I thought that it brought a new perspective to the Stormlight archive. That being said, there were little things that I had issues with, but I think it was a really great novella, and I think it really brings a lot of context into the universe. Then I also finished Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I think I'm gonna rate this 4.5 stars. I really did not like it at first. I thought it was really weird and a little out there, but once we hit probably like even a third of the way through, I really started to like it, and I really liked the characters, particularly Painter, who is the boy. I thought he was a really great character, and in terms of a flawed character, a great representation. Now, for the books I didn't finish, I did not finish Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu. I did get about halfway into the book, so I will be finishing it, but it was just a little bit too dense for a 24-hour readathon. I think it is a book I need to take a little bit more time with so I can really process and look up the physics of certain things, because that really went over my head. That being said, the part that I actually got to felt like the book was really about to kick off, so I'm kind of disappointed that my brain was just not able to focus, but I did feel like we finally got to the main conflict of the book. So I'll definitely pick it back up. I think if you're a sci-fi fan, this is definitely a worthwhile read. I haven't read a ton of sci-fi, so it was one of my first in the genre, and I think it might have been a little bit ambitious in that sense, but if you already read sci-fi, I think you'll get a great kick out of it. I also did not finish End of Story. I got about 100 pages into this book, and so far it's fine. I agree with a kind of popular take on thrillers, which is there's no need for them to be over 300 pages. I think a thriller should be fast-paced, and this is feeling very slow-paced. I will still finish it because I've already invested, 100 pages into it, and the story is intriguing. It does give Knives Out vibes, so if you like the movie Knives Out and kind of wanted a more long-term story to Knives Out, I think that you would enjoy this, but I did not finish it. Overall, I did not finish my goal and read 4 books. I only read 2. That being said, I'm still really proud of myself for even attempting to do this, and 2 books in 20 hours is still, I think, a really good amount for me, and given that I also started 2 other books and got significant progress into them, shows that I really committed to this. I might do the challenge where you read for 24 hours over the course of the week and only track the time you're reading. I can link an example of that challenge down below, but I don't think I'll ever do an all-nighter like this again unless I had friends doing it with me. I'm just not built for that. I am a sleepy girl, so yeah. But I'm really glad that I did it and tried it. So if you liked this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I really look forward to making more book videos. Thanks. Bye.